Good afternoon. Thanks for joining me today on Good Ship Happens. I'm Cindy Bertram, and yes, we have a long weekend coming up, which is great too because we have Labor Day on Monday. So please take a day off and relax, okay? It were my choice to be sailing on a ship, okay? Because good ship happens, okay? But also some new ships coming out, which is really exciting too, and some updates on the ships. They keep releasing little tips, which is really exciting too. I love sharing those too. But anyway, um, one, of course, is and we've got some new ships coming out pretty shortly too, of course. And one, of course, is with Celebrity Cruises. Their Celebrity Excel. That's their new ship coming out, and it's spelled XCEL, Celebrity Excel. So she will excel at everything, but it's spelled XCEL, so you don't get it wrong. Okay. Also, we've got, of course, coming out later this year, pretty soon too. Of course, is the Star of the Seas. That already just came out. That was the new one that has the new chief dog officer, of course. Sailor, right? Also, the Star Princess is coming out on October 4th. That sounds fantastic. And then in November 18th is when the Celebrity Excel is going to debut. Plus, also in November, we've got the Disney Destiny, which is great. And then later on, December 27th, we've got the Disney Adventure, which is great too. And also coming out soon, of course, is actually Virgin Voyage's new ship, the Virgin. It's called Brilliant Lady. Okay, she's going to be actually christening, I think, on September 5th. So that's next week. Coming up pretty fast, isn't it? But it's the Brilliant Lady. Okay, and that's their new ship, of course. And really some fun things too right now. Sailing right now over to the United States. Okay, the christening in it a little bit too, but that's going to be actually taking place, I think, on September 5th next week, which is great too. So a great way to celebrate next week too. So that's really fun too. And then another ship coming out too is coming up actually in 2026, which is really around the corner if you think about it. Four Seasons. The Four Seasons one is actually going to debut, I think, in March next year. They had to postpone a bit too, but that's actually the one. I'll be offering some Caribbean cruises. Should be sailing in March next year, and that's the one that has actually Captain Kate McHugh as their captain on the ship, which is great. And with the Four Seasons one, that's their new cruise line, Four Seasons, and what they're doing is has a guest capacity of 190 guests, which is really nice too. I know as far as her inaugural sailing, which got postponed, she'll be offering sailings on 7-night Lesser Antilles, which is going to be featuring Antigua, also St. Lucia, from Barbados to Aruba. And so amazing is going to be sailing in the Caribbean too, and that's great too, of course. And then another one too is Windstar Cruises. They've got their new ship coming out in end of December. I think our inaugural sailing is going to still be December 28th. 2025. It's going to be the Star Seeker. That's Windstar Cruises. They do great things too, and I've written about it before too. Another one I'll share more information about this one too is actually with Emerald Cruises. Their Emerald Kaya is coming out in April next year. The Emerald Cruises Emerald Kaya has a capacity of 128 guests and should be offering her inaugural sailing on April 4th of 2026. A 11-day Mediterranean Cyprus to Athens cruise. So remaining voyage is going to be including, of course, Mediterranean, Adriatic, and Aegean seas. And then next year, Norwegian Cruise Line's got a new ship coming up too. That's going to be the Norwegian Luma, and she's going to debut in April next year. Her guest capacity is 3,550 guests. They haven't revealed the sailing date too. I think it's going to be, well, they mentioned debuting in April next year. We'll find out soon, of course, later on too. So, and then another one, of course, is going to be Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Legend of the Seas, and that's going to be taking place on July of 2026. Approximately 5,610 guests based on double occupancy. They haven't really actually revealed yet her inaugural sailing yet, but her main season is really kind of fun too. It's going to be actually in the southern Mediterranean, and then later on, she'll be followed year round by Western and Southern Caribbean cruises, of course. And then also next year, in addition to the Four Seasons one, I think they got the second Four Seasons yacht coming out next year too. They haven't released it when, but that's good too. So, but a lot of good things too. And then, Windstar Cruises too. They've got another Windstar cruise ship coming up not till December next year. It's going to be called the Star Explorer. That's Windstar Cruises. And she'll be actually debuting in December 2026. And guest capacity is 224 guests. And they haven't really revealed much more, but that's kind of fun too. So that's really, I think, fun too. And also, Explorer Journeys. That is the cruise that really kind of brings that ocean life together, which is great. I've written about them. They've got Explorer 1, Explorer 2, and their Explorer 3 is going to be debuting in August 2026. What they're doing is their capacity based on double occupancy is going to be 926 guests. Her inaugural sailing is going to be taking place on August 3rd, 2026. And as far as her maiden voyage, maiden season is going to be Mediterranean, of course, Northern Europe, also Greenland, Iceland, and then the East Coast United States and the Caribbean too. So that's fun too. And then we've got more ships that just were announced for 2027. That's 2 years away, but hey, that's good too, right? Explorer 4, Explorer 5, Explorer 6. Those are kind of be coming out in 2027. Also, I think their Explorer 6 is coming out in 2028. Once again, Explorer Journeys brings the ocean life to sea, which is great too. It's beautiful. I've written about them. Very small, but very luxury. And just a great way to relax, different places go to. And of course, they're owned by the MSC Group. MSC Group actually owns MSC Cruises. I was on the Cruise of the World America back in April. It's phenomenal. Also, Explorer Journeys. They have their nonprofit association too. Their MSC nonprofit, which is great. And also, they actually have their container shipping company too. But anyway, Explorer Journeys is one they started a couple years ago with Explorer 1, Explorer 2, which is great. And as mentioned, Explorer 3 is coming out next year, which is great too. And of course, we've got some other ships coming out with Carnival, right? Yes. Carnival has a Carnival Festival. I love the name Festival. We like to have a festival, right? And that's going to be coming out. They haven't really made the season yet, but I know it's going to be coming out next in 2027. And the Carnival Festival, and guest capacity based on 2 people per stateroom is going to be 6,400 guests. And they haven't really released more yet too. But then also another one too is going to be with MSC Cruises. Their MSC World Atlantic is going to be debuting in 2027. And they haven't revealed much about their normal sailing yet. But anyway, the MSC World Atlantic will be having a capacity based on 2 people of 6,774 guests. And they will be sharing more later on too. Another one, of course, is the Oceania Cruises. They got their Oceania Sonata, which will debut in the summer of 2027. And real more, but once again too is with Oceania Cruises, they're more luxury, which is great too. So keep in mind, there's so many cruises out there too, and ships and things, and people say, okay, what's the best cruise line? Well, the point is, you know what? You really need to know what you're looking for, because now there's so many choices. I mean, the choice fits your choice too, which is great. Because once again, you've got big ships, you've got smaller ships, you've got luxury ships, but the thing is, what's great too is with the cruise industry, they have ships that kind of really fit different types of markets, which is great too. And of course, one that just launched earlier this spring was actually Victory Cruise Line. What they're doing is they have their 5 Great Lake cruises on their Victory 1 and Victory 2. And back at the end of April, I was invited to be on the Victory 1. What they do is they depart from Toronto, Canada. They sail through the 5 Great Lakes to Navy Pier, Chicago. About an hour away from Navy Pier, worked out perfectly. Then they sail from Navy Pier to the 5 Great Lakes through and go to Toronto, which is great too. It was a great experience. I wrote about it. Their ships are small. Guest capacity is maybe 170 guests. And the cuisine was fantastic. Energy was fun too. Plus, what they do too is They include a free complimentary shore excursion for every place they go to. You've got other choices too for other ones you want to upgrade different things too. Once again, too, as they go to different places. Some places I've not been to, okay, myself, okay? It was really fun because we went to actually Mackinac Island. With Mackinac Island, what was great to it, I heard about it, never was there, but also what they do is, see, in Mackinac Island, they don't let cars in Mackinac Island, okay? What was great too is with the Victory Cruise Line ships, the Victory 1 and Victory 2, they're very small, so the Victory 1 could actually dock right there. We have free shore excursions included. I did a horse-drawn carriage, which is beautiful, different places, but also, like I said, they don't allow any motor vehicles there. No cars, no trucks, nothing. And what they do is they got these horse-drawn carriages, people use bikes, the whole thing too. It's really great to explore that too. So keep that in mind too, just in case, because if you're looking for something smaller to really embrace the 5 Great Lakes, keep Victory Cruise Lines in mind. They're really great, fantastic company too. And also, as far as another ship coming out in 2027 with Carnival, they've got the Carnival. I'm sorry, it's going to be actually 2028. The Carnival Tropicale's coming out in 2028. And then also, I know Viking Cruise Lines is having new ships coming out too, which is great too. And let's see, I know new Disney ships too. They've already planned new Disney ships too. They're going to be coming out 2029, 2030, 2031. Okay, and of course, more Norwegian Prima ships coming out too later on in, actually, get this, 2030, 2032, 2034, and 2036. So now that I've exhausted you with all the new ships coming out in the future, let's talk about current ships, because that's really fun too. Just think it's so much fun to see how the cruise lines are adding more ships, which is great. Once again, remember that they are offering, they're working on getting to net zero emissions, okay? And also what they've done too is they're working on going there right now. Also, they've got shore power they can use too. I know I mentioned before, but also I know that with the Port Miami, they actually have shore power, so cruise lines can actually plug in shore power right there, which really saves as far as the net zero emissions too. And the cruise industry has really set a goal to be net zero emissions by 2050, but most of these cruise lines are really pumping up like crazy to really do that now more than ever, which is great too. I think it's wonderful because once again, it really helps with the environment. It really makes me feel so much better too what they're doing too. Also, another one too, of course, is with MSC Cruises. Good example that I shared before, but I want to share it again, is also with their private out island. It's called Ocean Cay MSC Marine Reserve. There a couple times now. I was just there in April for the christening of their World America ship. But what they do too is when MSC Group was working on adding a private island themselves, they actually negotiated a deal with the Bahamian government to lease this abandoned island for 100 years. They paid him $100 million. The island was a farm manufacturing plant. The plant left. The trees were dead. The sea life was dead. They had to tow away 1,500 tons of scrap metal. They invested back then over $400 million to really build the island up, which is great. They invested more money too. But it was great to be there. Was there when they're christening of their new ship back, I think 2021. Also again, of course, earlier in April. But once again too, is what they did was there back earlier. They actually did a sand cutting for this marine lab. So when I was there on the christening of the World America, I was there and actually did the ribbon cutting for the Marine Observatory right there too. And they're building coral reef trees there too, which is great too. So once again, another great idea what they're doing as far as really, really helping save the oceans and the coral reef trees, which is great. But just really great things that they're doing too, and they continue on. Because once again, the cruise industry works together. And a good example, of course, is with the Cruise Lines International Association called CLIA. And they are a great organization doing wonderful things. All the cruise lines are part of them too, which is great too. So definitely keep in mind too, this once again, we really need to see the ocean life more than ever. And the cruise lines are really stepping up more than ever to be net zero emissions before 2050. And like I said, right now, they're using different modes of energy too to operate their ships too. Plus, of course, a lot of ports that the cruise lines go to now actually have plug-in shore power too, which is great too. So keep in mind. Something else that I want to share too is, as mentioned, a new ship coming out soon is going to be the Celebrity Excel. Okay, that's Celebrity Cruises' new ship coming out in November 18th, I think is her date. And of course, the ship is called Celebrity Excel. That's spelled XCEL. Okay, she's currently under construction right now. But what they're doing too is they've got different things that they're doing right now to update the ship, which is great too. Their Edge class ships are beautiful, but the Celebrity Excel is going to be a little bit different too. I know that what they've done too is what they mentioned too is they're actually it's a sister ship Celebrity Excel. They're changing some things too. Okay, what they're doing too is what they've done is their Eden restaurant is now called the Bazaar. It's going to have LED screens and marketplace stalls fit for festivals, which is great too. Also, their spa now is going to include an outdoor lounge area, also product testing space in the lobby. And the ship's going to be coming out in less than 3 months, which is great too. But also, I know that they mentioned that they want to have this festival type atmosphere in the Bazaar, where the events and activities will be themed to the destination. Also, the spa is going to be their first class water therapy space. Okay, it'll become a waterfall. How fun! And also, it could be very, very calming too. I'll show you more about that later on. I found about that too. They just announced that too. Also, something else too is they've imagined 7 different spaces to provide new experiences too. In addition to their adding the Bazaar, okay, and then their spa changes, they are going to have a new Mediterranean restaurant on board, top deck called Bora, B-O-R-A. It's an adult focusing naming area. The top deck is called Bora, by the way, too, but also they've got a new Mediterranean restaurant on the top deck. The top deck is called Bora. It's going to have an adult-focused gaming area in the upper level of the club, and also it has increased shading, and also valet station with an outdoor pool. And also it's going to have a celebrity store. It's going to really, really have museum-style exhibits too. Some other things they're doing too is they've got, like I said, they really want to find some keys to really change the ship too. So once again, they're doing some subtle changes, but what they're doing too is, of course, with the blue dining venue, it's going to be larger. Also, the theater will be pro techniques and more advanced teasers to create 3D events, which is great. And also, though, let's see here. Let's see, I think, let's see here. I'm trying to think what they're doing too is, I know the Martini Bar and the Grand Plaza is going to remain the same, which is great too. And I'll be sharing more when I find out more too, but it's really fun that they're doing too. And something else they're doing too is they used to have this lawn club grill area, okay? They actually had fresh green grass growing there. They decided to eliminate it. I was on different Celebrity Cruise Line ships. It was very pretty, but people weren't really using it, so they're doing that area rechanging that, which is kind of fun too. But keep in mind, because that's really fun too. I'll share when I want to hear more about that too ship, because the ship is coming out, of course, in November 18th, I think, Celebrity Edge. So keep it in mind, that's kind of fun. And also, I know that they announced their godmother. Let me check on the godmother's name too, because once again, it's kind of fun how cruise lines pick godmothers. Sometimes they've godmothers too, which is great too. But as mentioned, the Celebrity Excel is going to actually debut November 18th this year. And I know that they've got, they picked a godmother. Let me see if I find the godmother's name too. Otherwise, I'll find that out at my next show too, which is fun too. Yeah, they just, can't find the godmother's name. They just announced it, so I'll find out more. I'm sure that later on too. It's really fun. Because like I said, cruise lines pick really phenomenal people to be godmothers, also godfathers too sometimes, okay? But I'll show more of that later too, because the ship is going to be debuting actually November 18th. And kind of fun too, to share these fun new ships because it really excites me too, and also as far as existing ships too. So that's really good too. And another example of how the cruise industry is really kind of growing and adapting to what people really want to more than ever too. Because that's really fun too. And then something else too is I had mentioned, of course, with Windstar Cruises, they've got new ships coming up. What they're doing too is they're actually going to be expanding their Caribbean and Latin America sailings for winter of 2026 and 2027. Okay, and they've just announced their expanded winter 2006-2027 program. They're going to feature 35 sailings from 10 different itineraries in the Caribbean, also Latin America too. And I know they mentioned their deployment is going to include, for the line's vessels, include daylight Panama Canal transits, new shore excursions, also introduction of cruises to Machu Picchu. And like I said, what's really great too is with Windstar Cruises, they're smaller ships. They're going to be offering a more quiet, intimate take on the Caribbean, visiting small islands that other ships can't go to, which is great too. From unspoiled beaches and coral reefs in the Grenadines, also French Flair and Creole culture with Guadeloupe, which is great too. So also from November through March, Windsor is going to offer weekly Caribbean itineraries departing from San Juan and St. Martin. How fun. So from San Juan is beautiful, and St. Martin's beautiful too, but the voyages are going to, what's kind of good too is because the ships are small, they can access smaller ports like Anguilla, also Schaff van Dyke, which is great too. Also experiences in Virgin Gorda, Myro, and also their flagship sailing vessel will be the Windsurf. She's going to alternate between 7-night beach fun and sun. I love that. A remote Caribbean getaway, classic Caribbean itineraries from December 2026 through March 2027. These sailings are going to have activities ranging from snorkeling off the yacht's marina, which is great. Also, what's fun too is in the Prickly Pear to zip lining through St. Kitts Rainforest. And also Star Pride will be operating weekly sailings from San Juan between October through January. Also going to be alternating between a 7-night San Juan Virgin Islands and Windsor Island surf and sunsets itineraries. The Star Legend will offer 2 Barbados-based sailings in November and December 2026 before they transition to South America. Also, as far as new shore excursions, there's going to include rum tasting in Puerto Plata, boat tours to caves and also mangroves in the Altice National Park, snorkeling in Horseshoe Reef in the Tobago Cays, also French Creole cooking and mixology in Marigot. And also their Caribbean prices for winter are already open. You can actually book right now if you want to. As far as our Latin American sailings, they're bringing some new cruise tours, which is great too. They're updating that too. It's great too. But their Windstar Latin America program is a new cruise tour combining Machu Picchu with the line's 7-night Costa Rica and Panama Canal itinerary. And the 5-night pre and post cruise package includes a guided tour of Machu Picchu, a Vistadome train ride journey, also visits to UNESCO World Heritage Site Curacao, which is great, and also their Latin America sailings will be distributed across their Star Legend ship, their Windstar, and their Star Pride ships. The Panama Canal transits will feature daylight passages with expert narration, which is great too. Also, the Panama Canal, Cartagena, San Blas Islands, and more itinerary turns aboard the Star Pride ship. And that's going to feature really great culture as far as the San Blas Islands, UNESCO listed Cartagena, also their Bocas de Toro and villages, and also as far as their natural Costa Rica voyages on the Legend, and the Star Legend, or actually the Star Pride is going to visit Manuel Antonio National Park, offer guided mangrove tours, also include catamaran sailing along the coasts of Playa Flamingo, And also, Latin America will also include, they've got prices already, and also they've got land extensions, which is great, longer voyages. So pre and post cruise land tours really let guests really extend their experience and options, with including that includes Costa Rica's Cloud Forest, High Springs near Marina Volcano. Also, as far as their 2026-2027 program, also features 22 star collectors voyages across 8 different itineraries, which is great too. And right now, Windstar Cruises actually has these available for sale too, so keep in mind too, because once again, they're smaller ships, very beautiful, offering new sailings too, which is great too for expanding their Latin American and Caribbean sailings in 2027 and 2028. So definitely keep that in mind, because I think that's great too. Something else that we mentioned too was also with U.S. cruise lines. We've got American Cruise Lines, okay, and they've run for a long time. They're family owned, which is great. Also, the company actually has their own separate company, builds their own ships too, which is great. But the American Cruise Lines, in addition to doing the river cruises too, which is great, they do is they also have been offering now the Treasures of the Southeast, okay? And what they're doing is they've got some really beautiful, well-designed Southeast itineraries, which lets guests enjoy a scenic intercoastal waterway to the Florida Gulf Coast, also the Keys, okay? They got their small ships, which is great too. And they got some of the new ships too, so I'll share more about that too. Sounds really fantastic, because what they're doing too is they're offering cruises. If you could actually take it's actually a 9-day Florida Gulf Coast and Keys cruise, which sounds beautiful, and it's going to be going to Marco Island. People can see the dolphins, also the beauty of Everglades National Park, and of course the colorful streets of Hemingway's Key West. Also charter a seaplane to Tortugas, and then people can actually explore the Punta Gordas Artisan Village and the beautiful, tranquil botanical gardens in St. Petersburg too. Also got their Southeast Sea Islands. They've got actually a 9-day Southeast Seas Island, which is going to really bring in some really cultural charm with southern charm too. And you can discover Charleston's cobblestone streets, some more history, and then enjoy a horse-drawn carriage through Beaufort's Low Country Beauty. Also, they've got, let's see here, they've got their Gilded Age Splendor and Jekyll Island, I think I pronounced it correctly too. Also, people can experience on this cruise, it's their Southeast Seas Islands, experience the maritime heritage of St. Simon's Island, also kayak on the reflective waters of Amelia Island. And then something else they just announced too with these new sailings, which is great too. They've got, actually you can embark on a 9-day journey from Jacksonville, and you can actually glide by airborne through St. John's Rivers, winding tributaries, then tour the Amelia Island electric carriage. Also step back into historic times of St. Augustine on a Gilded Age walking exploration and discover Jacksonville's hidden gems. Once again, these are available to book right now, I believe, but they're adding more, which is great too. So keep in mind, because it's American Cruise Lines, they're family owned. They build their own ships, which are great. And in addition to sailing on the Great Lakes, they're offering different itineraries to including these beautiful treasures, of course, which would be sailing around South Florida. So definitely keep that in mind, because I think that's exciting too. Something else too is with Ozmar Cruises. Ozmar Cruises has 4 ships, and what they're doing is they've just enhanced their entertainment program for 2026. You might not have heard Ozmar Cruises. I have written about it like Great Sea, which is great too, but also what they did was, originally when they started in 2007 by the Royal Caribbean Group, of course, they had their 4 small ships, and then they decided to really because they could actually stay longer at some of these ports in Europe because they had small ships. What they did was they started creating their Amazing evenings, okay? And that's where they could actually stay longer, which is great. I'm going to be writing about it too. I've written about it before too, but also they just announced a new entertainment program for 2026 coming up too. What they're doing is they're going to introduce 13 new exclusive entertainment experiences across their fleet beginning 2026. And they've got a partnership with, it's called RWS Global. And like I said, with Ozmar Cruises, they're known for their destination immersion experiences and the extended destination days. They're updating their entertainment too, which is great. And it's part of their commitment to being culturally programming too. And what's great too is they've got this new partnership with RWS Global that allows us to really elevate their guest experience, delivering world-class performances and entertainment, which also reflects on the destination they visit too. And the new entertainment, they just announced this, which is great too. This is just brand new news. They mentioned their new entertainment program is going to feature 10 original shows exclusive to Asmara, featuring contemporary choreography, reimagining classics across various musical genres, genres, and decades. Also, they're going to have 2 interactive game shows, which is going to increase the passenger participation, themed musical experiences, spontaneous pop-up performances through the voyages, and also going to be doing some technical upgrades too, which is great too. And as mentioned, RWS Global is handling the development, the casting, choreography, and design of their production too, which is great too. Which is great. But also, like I said, they just announced this and new entertainment too, which is great. And working with another company, which is great too. But also with Ozmar Cruises, as mentioned, what they do is they stay later at night. What's good, they have that capacity to do that because their ships are very small. The problem is sometimes with new cruise lines and other cruise lines that sail, especially in Europe, sometimes they can't dock at certain ports. But with Ozmar Cruises, they can because their ships are very, very small. They got 4 ships right now. I think they will be eventually building some new ships. Show more of that later on too. But also they do is they stay longer, which is great. So people actually enjoy visiting different places longer and not having to get on off the ship and depart by a certain time. They stay longer, which is great. And actually they have different things their guests can do too. Entertainment, certain dinings, whatever. It's just kind of immersive too, which is great too. And they call them their Amazing evenings too. So keep it in mind too, because like I said, they're a great cruise line. They're adding more too, which is great too. Plus they're small ships and they're great. So keep in mind too, just in case. Because once again, they're not really well known, I don't think, in the U.S., but it's called Ozmar Cruises. They were not actually around since 2007 when Royal Caribbean actually started. And then what happened was during the pandemic, of course, Royal Caribbean sold off to his Sycamore Partners, and then they actually launched Ozmar Cruises, which is great. They kept the line going, which is great too, and that's great too. So keep in mind too, because they provide really great things too. As far as another cruise line I mentioned before, as far as a new ship coming out too, is Emerald Cruises. Okay, and they've got their 3rd ship coming out. It's going to be called the Emerald Kaya. I think it's spelled Kaia, Kaya Super Yacht. That's actually going to be their 3rd super yacht. Okay, Emerald Cruises' 3rd super yacht, called the Emerald Kaya. Hope I pronounced it correctly. Is going to sail on her inaugural voyage April 4th to Greece and Turkey in 2026. It's going to be an 11-day cruise. Coincides with Easter, which is great too. And it's going to depart from Cyprus, ending up in Athens. And guests can actually experience both the local Roman Catholic and Greek Orthodox Easter celebrations too, which is great too. And also, like I said, it accommodates just the guests. The trip is actually just 128 guests, okay? She'll be sailing in her season, Mediterranean before winter in the Caribbean too. Also, as mentioned, their other ship, bookings open for the other ship called the Emerald, I think it's pronounced Raya. She'll join the fleet in 2027 on her 8-day inaugural cruise, which is going to be sailing the Greek islands and then Turkey in June 19, 2027. And something more, like I said, the ship's under construction too. Once again, Emerald Cruises has two super yachts, the 100 passenger guest Azura, also Sakara, sister ships that entered service in 2022 and 2023. So once again, they have their third super yacht coming out in, I believe, next year. I think it's next year. Not sure. I'll check on that too. Okay. Let me look real quick too. I'll check on ships coming out too. That's their new ship coming out, and I think it's next year. Let me check here too. Let me look here. And that might be next year. One other. Here too, real quick. I think. But how fun! You know, like I said, if you're looking for something smaller, which is great, or immersive, definitely keep in mind Emerald Cruises. Another one cruise is called Scenic Cruises, which is great. And I think that's just really, really fun to think about too, because once again, it's great what they're doing too. Because once again, I mean, we think about big ships all the time, of course, with Star of the Seas, which just came out, of course. It's a sister ship to Icon Seas. Those are the two biggest cruise line ships ever built, okay? But what really attracts people too is different options as far as entertainment. A lot of family activities too. Also, I think what really pulls me in is the fact that the Icon of the Seas has a chief dog officer. Okay, her name is Rover. And then they decided to have a chief dog officer in the new ship called Star of the Seas. Her name is Sailor. Golden Retriever too. She's really cute, just amazing. And of course, people just love her like crazy too. But once again, we've got big ships, mid-sized ships, luxury cruise line ships. You've got ships that sail more in the Europe River cruising area too, which is great. And you've got luxury cruise lines, which is great too. So many options out there. Just keep in mind what you really want to do too. Also, like I said, one area really I think it'd be to do too sometime would be the Europe River cruises too. Because once again, it's a great way to see Europe on the rivers. And once again, in this case, the river cruise lines that are there, including AMO Waterways, has been around for 23 years. Great company, amazing. They include different things, of course, too. Plus, the ships are very, very small, so you can really get immersed too in seeing Europe in a great way rather than taking a tour of Europe too. I know that. Oh, I talked about Osmar with they're having new entertainment coming up in 2026, but also what they did too is they just announced too they've got they've enhanced their destination program. And it's going to be for their 2026-2027 Mediterranean sailings. They just announced this too. It's going to be called their Discover What the Locals Know. I love that. Discover what the local knows, right? It's an enhanced version of their destination immersion program too, and it's going to be designed for their cruise lines 2026-2027 Mediterranean itineraries, sailing fall through spring. And also, they focus on providing guests with really authentic local experiences during off-peak travel periods too. I think that's kind of fun because once again, like I said, it really goes back to what their CEO has mentioned, Donna Rissenthaler. She mentions travel experiences are evolving with a growing desire for genuine immersive experiences that go beyond the typical tourist view. So today's travelers really want to connect more deeply with the environment too, including sharing meals where locals gather, celebrating regional traditions, exploring everyday life with a fresh perspective too. So their enhanced program includes small group excursions led by local guides, which I think is phenomenal, entry to European film festivals, artisan workshops, culinary experiences featuring their traditional cuisine across destinations throughout during their off-peak hours. Also, some specific experiences include participation in Florence's Festival de Popoli, Documentary Festival. During the 7-night Best of the Mediterranean Cruise, they had a celebration of the composer of Vinicio Bellini's birthday in Sicily, November 3rd. Also, they've got their Maratona, I think it's pronounced Blessina, musical tribute. Also, access to Seville's European Film Festival during a 9-night Spain intensive cruise with double overnight stays, which is great. Also got different offerings too. That's going to feature olive harvesting experiences in Santa Margarita. Also followed by visits to a family-run olive oil production facilities. Also access to Florence's Piazza and their Duomo market during their 7-night Christmas cruise featuring handcrafted gifts, holiday items, nativity displays too, which is great too, and it's great what they're doing too, because once again, they're expanding, really elevates Azamara Signature's late nights and overnight port stays too, which really lets guests explore at their own pace and participation in seasonal traditionals too, including the winter markets and community connections too. But how fun. So definitely keep in mind too, because once again it's called Azamara Cruises. They're really fantastic. In addition to updating their entertainment program for 1026, they're really enhancing their destination programs. They just announced that too. So keep that in mind. But really, really great things that they're doing too. So once again, it goes back to what you want to see and do, where you want to go to, and also there's so many options out there too. So definitely keep in mind, because we've got so many choices out there too, which is great too. So keep in mind, because there's a cruise for everybody. Okay. And I love the choice we have now more than ever too. I think it really goes back to, I think as far as the destination version, I think one reason that came up too is because after we went through COVID-19, it was much different. Okay. I remember going through 9/11. That was really horrible, tragic. I mean, people are scared to travel. Instead of, they cocooned. They bought things, but I think after going through COVID-19, where people actually were forced to stay from home, work remotely, whatever, too. I think now people are really, really more into immersion things, experiencing things themselves, destinations, places to go to, experiences that they don't want to experience by themselves, too. So keep in mind, too. But like I said, I love the choices out there now where they were so hard to pick where I go to. I really want to go do a cruise too. Maybe this fall, I don't know, next year too. But also, like I said, too, is there's so many choices. Like I said, I've never taken a river cruise myself. I'd like to do that too. Great way to see Europe, experience it. Also, like I said, with new options, of course, too. Another good example too is with Alma Waterways. They just launched earlier this year their Magdalena River Cruises. That's in South America. With their one ship. I don't think they launched their second ship yet or not too, but it's a great way to really kind of explore different things too. Alaska's beautiful. Caribbean I love like crazy, of course, been there a zillion times, but also another area, of course, to keep in mind too would be, think about different options, including, like I said, with Azamara too, and also, like I said, with Emerald Scenic Group, they're great too. Also, Windstar Cruises is exploring into Latin America too, which is great too. And their ships are small, but just really, really beautiful. So it's so much fun to see, experience on a cruise ship too, more than ever today too. So many options, of course, too. And like I said, new ships coming out like crazy, but that's really good too is Windstar Cruises, of course, their Star Seekers coming out. Right now, I was saying it's going to be December 28th this year. And of course, we've got Four Seasons 1 coming out in March this next year. A very famous on the ship, Captain Kate McHugh. I met her, she's great, beautiful. Also, we've got, like I said, Explorer 3 is coming out in August 2026. That's Explorer Journeys. And of course, we've got, coming out, I know that they got the Four Seasons Yacht 2 will be coming out later on this next year. They didn't give the date yet too, but that's coming out next year too. And of course, with Windstar Cruises, In addition, they've got their Star Explorer coming out in December 2026, which is great. And of course, we've got American Cruise Lines actually has, American Cruise Lines. They've got their American Maverick and also American Ranger coming out this next year. And as far as their ships, these two different ships, the American Cruise Lines, but their American Maverick, I love that title. American Ranger are going to be coming out later on 2026. Their guest capacity for each ship is going to be 126 guests, which is really, really small too. And of course, we've got things coming up as far as Christmas cruises too. One thing is, it's probably good to, if you're looking for a special holiday cruise too, like Christmas, book further out because those tend to sell fast, okay? But like I said, what's great too is, for instance, I had a chance to do a cruise over Thanksgiving. It was really fun because we had a special dinner, Thanksgiving dinner, which is great. So when you think about that, the benefits are, if you like dining out for Thanksgiving, well, definitely think about taking a cruise. It's really great too because they cook dinner for you, okay? And also mention too is we've got great different cuisine coming out too in different cruise lines. And of course, next year, with it being a special anniversary of the United States, cruise lines are doing special things. I think I mentioned this before, but I know that with Han America, they've got what they're doing too is in 2027, that marks their 80 years sailing in Alaska. Yes, 80 years. And they're going to prepare to celebrate their 80 years of Alaska with more than 100 cruises as part of their 2027 anniversary season 2. So keep in mind too, with Holland American Line, yes, 80 years sailing in Alaska, be coming up in 2027, okay? Which is great. And once again, these voyages coming up in 2027 are going to range from 7 to 28 days, okay? Also, I think I mentioned before, but also going to have they're going to have their legendary Alaska Arctic Circle Solstice, which is returning for a third year, and a new 8-day Vancouver round trip. And the new 8-day round trip Alaska Insight Passage visits Glacier Bay. I've been there, it's gorgeous. Skagway, Ketchikan. Also, they've got their British Columbia's Prince Rupert with a late night departure from Juneau.
There we go. Getting ready to wrap up and everything. My computer was acting crazy, the other one, and all along those lines and everything like that. So I got the commercials. I think we'll do the one with the dog and maybe even the shipbuilder to get us on out of here. But probably the one with the dog. The one with the dog was kind of cute and everything like that.
She is so cute. And the thing is, Michael Bailey.
So we'll go out with the one with the dogs.
He is the president of Royal Caribbean.
Yeah, so we'll go with those ones. So those were great
Sailor
ones. So
and Rover, but Sailor, when she's a puppy, he brought her in the office. People hug her like crazy. Amazing.
Cool. So let me see if I can find that one, and we'll go out with that one and all along those lines and see if we can get to it.
But she's adorable. She's so cute. Oh my God, amazing person. With 4 feet, right?
Yeah, hold on. There we go. Now if I can find the one with the dogs. There's the different background. Now there's the computers. Now I can find the little doggies. Assuming I didn't get rid of the dogs. There we go. There's the dogs.
As we're designing the best family vacation, there was one piece that was missing, which is, of course, the family dogs. And when guests go on vacation, one of the key things that they miss are their pets back home. And when our crew are sailing on board for their contracts, one of the things they miss are their pets back at home. And so we really wanted to make sure we brought a fluffy addition to our crew family. We went and got Rover, and here we are now for Star. We're picking up Sailor, and Sailor will be living on Star of the Seas.
Well, the Chief Dog Office was an idea that we created actually when we were developing and concepting the Ultimate Family Townhouse. We were all sitting around saying, when you think about the Ultimate Family Townhouse, what does that mean? And all these ideas came around, and somebody threw out the idea of having a family dog. And we said, well, it feels a little selfish to have a family dog for just one family. Why don't we have a family dog for the family on board the ship? And so that's how the position evolved. And we thought, well, obviously it's a very important position. And of course, all important positions on ships are called chief. So we thought Chief Dog Officer is perfect.
When we first came up with the idea for Project Rover or Project Sailor, we realized we don't really know a lot about what it means to take care of a dog on a cruise ship. And so we partnered with some of the most well-respected animal well-being certifiers globally to really help us create this program from the ground up and make sure that when Rover and Sailor are on board, they're having the best day every day.
So there's a very well-written, crafted position description that, of course, the Chief Dog Officer can't read. The key mission is to have fun, and that's exactly what Rover and Sailor do. You know, they just have fun.
So Sailor is very small. She's about 16 weeks. And so when Sailor gets on board, she's going to, take everyone's breath away. Sailor's life on Star will be full of adventure. She and her Chief Dog Officer role really means that she gets to go and explore the ship, go and explore our private destinations with our crew members, really just being that warm, welcoming family for her.
I just totally fell in love with Sailor. I fell in love with Rover as well, but I also fell in love with Sailor. she's so beautiful and loving and funny, and so I just completely fell in love. When we were thinking about the idea, one of the questions was, well, what will the crew think? Will the crew like the idea or not? And so one of the team members had a golden retriever and volunteered to bring the golden retriever down to one of our ships on a turnaround day, and we fitted the dog with a GoPro camera. It was very touching because after when we watched the video, so many crew stopped and hugged the dog and talked to the dog. When we saw that, we thought, wow, this is amazing. People miss their own family dogs.
And as we've done with Rover, as we're doing with Sailor, we really want to make sure we're focused on what's best for these animals. And really right now our focus is on Sailor and making sure that she is having the best life at sea when she gets on Star of the Seas in August.